Hello and welcome to PlumeriaPlay. Today we are building in the world of Henford-on-Bagley, which comes with the Cottage Living expansion pack, and we are building a cute little cottage in the midst of a Thanksgiving dinner. I think it's more of a Friendsgiving type of situation, but I do think it could work for a little family Thanksgiving as well. This house just ends up being only a single sim household, so just one bed and one bath. So the Friendsgiving idea made a little bit more sense in my head, but you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments. This build does end up being a semi-limited pack build. At 6 packs in total, I believe. We use Cottage Living Seasons, a Dream Home Decorator, the Home Chef Hustle pack, and then we use 2 kits, one being the Country Kitchen kit and the Everyday Clutter kit. So even if you don't have all of those, I do feel like this is going to be a pretty easy build for you to download. And I know 6 packs is not technically fully limited, so semi-limited, like I said. I feel like I'm usually an all or nothing person, so I decided I'd go a little bit more in the middle with the packs. We didn't have to use every pack, but we didn't only have to use one either. But right now the exterior is coming together. It takes me a little while to figure out the color scheme out here, and I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna change. So it's kind of got that little sherbet orange right now, and I want to say it ends up being blue before it's all over with. But this was actually such a fun little house to build. I love building in the world of Henford-on-Bagley. I just think it's such a pretty world and it has such a nice style to it. So it was exciting to build in this world. Usually when I build here, I build at that very top lot up by the waterfall, but we're actually building in a more city area of the world this time, which was really fun and a little bit different. So I did enjoy that, but I did want the cottage to feel a little in between, like a country cottage and a suburban house. And I do think we end up getting there. We end up using this nice little navy blue out here on the exterior for the window shutters, and I love that. Also some window boxes. We end up with a lot of greenery before it's all over with. I feel like you have to, when you build in cottage living, use like an excessive amount of greenery. So I do have it in there before it's all said and done. I do hop around a lot in this build. To be completely honest, most of my speed builds that end up posted on here are built on Twitch first, but I built this one completely alone by myself. So I kind of blame Twitch for my hopping around, like the comments and the chat, like directing the build elsewhere. But turns out I just hop around when I build, so I'm sorry about that. I really thought it wasn't me, but it turns out I am in fact the problem. But right now we are getting a little stone walkway to the front of the house, and I used these little stones from Debug and kind of stacked them around. I wanted it to have a pathway up, but unfortunately the Sims doesn't give us like the matching bricks and stones that exist in the world. So while I would have loved to carry on that brick path that is existing in the world in front of our house, it's not an option. So I thought these stones were a nice option to go with. But now we are heading inside that lot and working on the interior of our house and getting a general layout together. But while that layout's coming together, I just wanted to address my hand really fast in case you noticed the brace. But long story short, I have tendinitis. I thought I got bit by a spider. So honestly, when they told me I had tendinitis, that felt better because I am horrified of spiders. So luckily that's all it was. It's like I'm gonna have to wear this brace for a week and take some little anti-inflammatories and then we're good to go. But I was moving my Christmas decorations in because I have decorated for Christmas already, and I guess maybe when I did that I pulled something. I don't know. I never felt any pain until I woke up and then my wrist was like swollen, but there just so happened to be a little red dot where it was swollen, and I was like, it's it. I've been bitten by a spider. I'm done for. But turns out I'm not done for and we're all good. But I just wanted to mention that in case you notice it. You might not be shocked to hear this, but as it turns out, I talk with my hands a lot. So I do think that it shows up in camera a little bit. So like I said, that's all I have to say about that. But I'm just happy I wasn't bitten by a spider. So that is the bright side of things. Because when I was getting these boxes, there were spiders everywhere. We keep our Christmas decorations out in a storage shed that's not like weatherproofed or anything, so they just kind of festered in there, and I never felt like I actually got bitten, but like I guess seeing the spiders and then having like a red mark and a swollen wrist, like that was my brain's first reaction, was like, oh my god, I've been bitten by a spider. But like I said, thank goodness I haven't. But we are back in the build now, and you might be a little shocked by the color scheme that's coming through because this is like a Thanksgiving house and now you're looking at pink and blue. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what made me gravitate towards this color scheme, but I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I think it's so cute. And while I do love a really nice fall build, I do think that it's maybe like a little unrealistic. Like I just wanted this to be a cute cottage that also happen to be hosting Thanksgiving, not like a fully fall decked out cottage. So like if you wanted to live here and play in this, all you need to do is delete the Thanksgiving-y stuff that's in the kitchen and dining room, and then the house is just normal. And I think the pink and blue color scheme is what also gives it like a Friendsgiving vibe to me. The sim that lives here is probably a little bit younger, probably more just being friends with the locals type of situation. I don't know. You'll have to decide who lives here and what their storyline is. I just wanted a cute cottage. I didn't really have a particular sim in mind. I did have Friendsgiving in mind when I built this, but like I said, I feel like between Friendsgiving and Thanksgiving, you can kind of swap it out for either or. But if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I would love to know your traditions, whether it's Thanksgiving with family or Friendsgivings, in the comments below. Me and my husband will be going over to both of our families. Actually, we're really fortunate and our families live pretty closely together. So we'll be going to mine for lunch and then his for like afternoon and dinner time. While I'm not all that big into Thanksgiving, I think it's a perfectly fun holiday, but it's certainly nowhere close to my favorites. My husband Dante loves Thanksgiving. He's very family oriented though, and he loves to cook. So like this is his holiday, his time to shine. I do have to say though, Thanksgiving is pretty low stress for me because he is the cook in our family. So I make a singular dish, and that is an Oreo trifle, and it's one of the easiest things to make. I don't consider myself to be a good cook, and he is outstanding. So I do like Thanksgiving for that reason. I know the holidays can be a pretty high stress time, especially if you're hosting or anything like that. So my heart goes out to you if Thanksgiving is a stressful holiday for you, because I know it is for a lot of people. But let me talk about the build really quickly, because you may be noticing all the junk on the counters. I had ended up in a clutter section while I was decorating the desk and just started plopping some down. My plan to make this look like a hosted house is to have a big tablescape along that island. So we're gonna have a turkey, and I'm gonna have a sim come over and cook some food and some casserole dishes and whatnot. So I wanted it to look like they were in the middle of a Thanksgiving dinner. So we did do a little pumpkin and leaf tablescape on our dining table, and that island is gonna end up situated, I promise. Right now it looks like an absolute train wreck, but I was just kind of dropping ideas. It's the last thing I do since I did have to have a sim come here and cook. I have that sim make a turkey dinner and some mac and cheese, and then I think she made a pumpkin and a mushroom soup. I feel like The Sims doesn't really have side options. The mac and cheese was the closest thing I could find, but there's no like potatoes or casseroles or dressing slash stuffings, depending on what you call those. We had a whole conversation over on Twitch. I am from the southeastern part of the United States, and we call it dressing, like a Thanksgiving dressing, but just about everybody else called it stuffing. So you'll have to let me know what you call that if you ever make that. But now we are back in the kitchen, and I am cluttering up that counter in the corner, so it's not going to be a usable counter, and just trying to get some of these things in places where they go, and grabbing those casserole dishes from the Country Kitchen kit. I included the Country Kitchen kit in this build just for those casserole dishes. That was the only reason. So if you do not have Country Kitchen, I think the casserole dishes were the only thing we used from it. So you'll be fine to not have that and download it. I don't think you need either of the kits to download this build. I did use a little bit of clutter from the Everyday Clutter kit, and I used the casserole dishes from the kitchen kit. But if you don't have those, it's not really going to change the build drastically. I feel like you could download this build pretty easily with just Cottage Living and Seasons, and it's going to work just fine for you. Although as I was editing that snippet of me talking, I noticed I used the kitchen things from Country Kitchen, so the stove and the fridge. However, I do think you can swap those out for the Cottage Living ones pretty easily, and it's still not going to affect the way the build looks all that terribly much. But apparently we're back outside now, and I'm painting the house blue. So here's where the blue comes through, and I actually think that looks so much better than the yellow. I like the contrast of that baby blue with the navy blue shutters, and we used a lot of blue in the house, so it kind of felt like it brought the color scheme from inside to outside. And then I put down this chicken coop and realized we could match our house to the chicken coop, so I changed our roof texture. It seemed like the only reasonable option, but we did get a chicken coop, so there are chickens back there. I do buy chickens, and they are all named after Thanksgiving food that I enjoy. Not necessarily my favorite Thanksgiving food, it's just like the first Thanksgiving items that came to mind, because we do have a chicken named Turkey, and I think turkey's a little overrated. I think Thanksgiving is where the sides shine. You'll have to let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. Hopefully nobody comes for me that I don't like turkey that much. Let me correct myself. I do like turkey, but like it's not the star of the show. It's the sides. It's the sweet potato casserole. It's the green bean casserole. It's the potatoes, not the turkey. But we are getting a little bit more greenery on the outside of the house. We are decorating the front porch now. I get one of the little chairs from Seasons and a flower arranging table. I like the idea that the sim maybe made flowers and had her little chickens and just lived her little country life. I loved it. I loved it so much. But moving upstairs now to the bedroom, we go for more of a pink and green color scheme. I don't know why, I can't help it. I just love a pink and green color scheme, and this bed is perfect for it with the pink bedding with the green flowers. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. Pink and green are definitely my favorite colors. More green is like a primary favorite color and pink is a secondary favorite color. Also, Apollo is here in my lap for the moment, but we are finishing up decorating this bedroom. I did think about adding a bathroom off of the bedroom for a little bit there, so you'll see that door, but that is eventually gonna get deleted. I just decided I wanted to let that be void. It was kind of too long and skinny to do too much with. I imagine it's like an attic space, like a little crawl space in which you can store things. So you are welcome to decorate that if you want to, but I left it undecorated and I think we're deleting that now. But the bedroom I think turns out so cute. I just love the cottage living stuff. It's so easy to decorate with and it's so fun to decorate with. But skipping ahead just a little bit now, I brought the sim named Sarah here. She is one of the prettiest townies and we share a name, so that's pretty fun. But we are kind of laying out that tablescape now. This is not going to be its final form because I do have Sarah cook a few more things after this, but I kind of wanted to show you what I was doing and how I was doing it. We were all placing the food with the counters. I was having her cook when I thought a space needed to be filled and we were just adding that on. But now let's go ahead and hop into the game and I will give you a full tour of the build and a full tour of our setup and tablescape. So here is a look at our little cottage on the outside. I think it turned out so cute. I love all the greenery and the little touches of fall decor here and there. I think it's absolutely precious. On the outside, we do have our little chicken coop out here where they are all mingling and whatnot. I am realizing I have forgotten trash cans. I will add those, I promise. I will add trash cans before we're done and before it's on the gallery. And then there is a back door space, so your sim can access that from either this back door or the front door. On the porch, we do have the flower arranging table where I have planted a few little flowers over here. And then we got this adorable little fall gnome. I like to cheat this and set them to be grown. There we go. Now we've got flowers on the porch. And then once you go in the front door, you're met with kind of an office area. We have a little entryway space over here, which is where most of the everyday clutter kit gets used. And then we have just a small little bathroom right off of that main entry hallway. Heading into this area, we have our living room, which I love the blue and pink color scheme. I think it's so lovely. And behind our living room space, we do have a couple of little bookshelves so your sims can read here. We have our beautiful autumn table with the pumpkins and leaf tablescaping. And then here is our Thanksgiving dinner. We've got mac and cheese, we've got turkey, we've got soups, we've got a roast apparently, and then we've got the mushroom soup and a couple of little pies. I think this is so cute and I just love that it looks like she's actually hosting a Thanksgiving here. I'm not gonna lie to you, I think these have already spoiled. Yeah. Okay, well, only the turkey. Oh, the mac is about to spoil. Anyways, you can just delete the food or have your sims remake it if you want to. It's not meant to last, unfortunately. It was more just for the aesthetic. And then upstairs we have our bedroom, the little pink and green one that we looked at with a fireplace and a cute little dresser and a mirror. And then here is the attic space, as I like to call it. So you can build this out if you want to. You can store some stuff in there. I don't really mind using blank space for the sake of structure, and I really like the layout of our house. But let me add in those trash cans and then we'll get this uploaded on the gallery. I'll do one inside. We can put it here by the island, and then we'll plop one outside, but where? I'm gonna put it over in this corner. I kind of like to hide the trash cans. So there are the trash cans there, and then we'll go ahead and put this on the gallery. We're gonna be calling that the Pastel Harvest Cottage, and I do use hashtag PlumeriaPlay to give you an easier time finding it. And here are all the packs that it uses. So it is Cottage Living, Seasons, a Dream Home Decorator, a Home Chef Hustle, the Everyday Clutter Kit, the Country Kitchen Kit, and the Holiday Celebration Pack, apparently. Although it doesn't say I used an item from that. Okay. All right, Sims. But the Country Kitchen, we only use the fridge, the the stove and the casserole dish. For the everyday clutter, we only use the clutter items that are in the entryway table. I don't have any anywhere else. For Home Chef Hustle, I use the tiles in the bathroom, and then we use these few little items for kitchen clutter. Seasons, we just use some decor items, and the rest of the build is pretty much exclusively cottage living. I feel pretty strongly that if you only have cottage living, you could download this and it would still hold the integrity of the build. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the build in the comments below, and if you made it this far, comment a turkey emoji down there as well. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you have a very happy one, and if you're seeing this after Thanksgiving, I hope you had a happy one. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have the best rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!